Good evening, everybody. Another Monday night with bees all day. Link is pinned to the top of the chat. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Anybody get any rain over the weekend? Because we got some. We got some last night. And there's Brent and Roy and Clay and Joanna Burke from Georgia. You're new to the show tonight, Joanna. Thanks for coming in. Jeremy. See who else we got in here. That's it so far. Hopefully we're going to have a, hey, Bill Lee, how are you today? Hopefully we're going to have a good show tonight. And as soon as we get some more people in here and get some more people in the chat, we'll get started. Hey, Luke, how are you tonight? Good to see you back. So who got rain over the weekend? 2 minutes worth of rain. Jonathan got 2 minutes worth of rain. Yeah, we had, hey, Eugene, how are you tonight? Good to see you back. So, Clay, did you get any rain this weekend? Somebody's coming in. There's Mr. Will. How are you tonight?
Hey, guys. Good, Bill. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you? How's everything in the big state of Pennsylvania?
Busy.
Yeah.
Treating bees. Yep. Treating bees, feeding bees.
Getting rain over the weekend?
Just a couple little sprinkles. Not enough to really help much. The ground's dry and hard at this point.
Yeah. We got 2/10 worth of rain Friday. Not Friday, but Saturday afternoon we got 2/10 worth of rain. Yeah, I could get a second cut, Jonathan, but we're not going to cut it because everybody's got plenty of hay. So it's going to get bush hogged. Mike, you're up in Vermont, right, Mike?
Hey, Clay.
There's Mr. Charlie, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, I guess.
You sound tired tonight, Charlie.
I was waiting. There was a friend of mine call or text me. Anyway, he was supposed to be here bringing a out of country beekeeper. I said, look, it's getting dark, you know. You going to get here tonight or not? Well, we're just finishing up. It'll be in half an hour. I'm like, forget it. And I said, come up tomorrow.
Yeah.
So got some Saudi Arabian nationals coming in tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Buying hay, Charlie.
Hey, Judith. Good to see you in here tonight.
What's that, Will?
Buying some hay?
Now they're going to buy some honey, I think.
Oh, okay.
Here's a beekeeper. I think he's a beekeeper. He wants to get some honey.
Well, that's a good thing, you know? Never hurts to sell it.
Mike. Hello, Judith. Is that your friend over and across the mountain?
Yep, sure is. She's getting brave. She's coming in the chat now.
That's good. There's James.
Don't shake his left hand, Charlie.
Do what?
If he offers you his left hand, don't shake it.
Why is that?
I'll explain it to you
Oh,
later.
I know why.
Yeah.
The same way you don't cross your legs over there, right?
Yep. James Lee's bees. He's still spinning honey. How much you gotten so far, James? So did everybody see the title? Hey, Via, how are you today? Did you see what topic was for tonight, Charlie?
No, I just.
Yeah, it's fall and winter management, condensing hives, feeding, types of feeders that we can use that, you know, we all use and we are happy with and our bees are happy with.
Mm-hmm.
So get a few more in here and then we can get started.
Well,
So-
I got an email here from StreamYard. And,
Yeah.
well, I knew that, you can only have 6, well, let's say 5 guests plus yourself, 6 people on the screen, which is fine with me.
Yeah.
But what got me is, oh, you only got 25 more minutes for this month. I mean, what do you mean? I get a limit of 5 hours a month for showtime. For streaming.
You're kidding.
That's it.
They're kind of making it hard, aren't they?
Huh?
Yeah, they want you to subscribe.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, okay, can I, I don't need all this other hoo-ha. Oh no, it's $36 a month if you want to go back to what you had, which is $432 a year.
Yep.
And I'm like, I just don't, I can't see putting that kind of money out. So that means I got to get down to the point where I'm doing a Friday night show for 1 hour.
Now we'll fix that. We'll fix that.
But I got in there and read up. I could go on there this coming Friday, and if I go over, they won't turn the switch off for that night. It's like crazy shit. I mean, this kind of stuff here, we're not making money out of it, At least I ain't. How's the bees, Will?
Doing good. Doing good. I'm treating and feeding. So
I went over to my friends that helps me, take the supers off. And, well, for some of the bees, that was the last round, I had put, what was it, 35, 50, and I put 20 on tonight. And it's about 105 grams. And then the other 2 hives that I didn't treat, I had hit them with 50, and I hit them again with 50. And well, I think right now it's about, 66 degrees. It's supposed to be in the 70s most of this week, maybe at the high as the 80s. And then he had one there that he hadn't treated. There was a single box. I went ahead and hit it with 50 grams. So,
did you get much of a response hitting it with 50?
I mean, as far as them bearding or whatever,
Yeah,
nothing. I hit them when I hit them. Those hives was 2 weeks ago when it was 65 in the morning, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was way below 77 degrees. Today I went over there at 5:30 and it was 69 degrees.
I have one more round of 35 to put on all the colonies except what I have right here at the house. The colonies.
Now, did you watch Benny's latest video?
I watched part of it. I didn't watch all of it because I didn't have time.
Yeah, the main thing is they were doing all them samplings and whatever, in that shaker machine.
Yep.
But go to the end of it. That was the nugget, is where he said, I said, I got these hives here. He says, it's going to be just 80 or lower. He said, if it's going to be 80 degrees or less, he said, I'm dropping 50 grams on them.
Okay.
I'm like,
there you go.
You answer my question.
Yep.
Well, his last video talked about how he used a bunch of different mite strips, and he's kind of making a comparison on them, right?
Yeah. So what he's doing right now, it's a what little bit I've seen in the book. He had different yards. There was some yards were like 90% zeros.
Well, he washed every colony, is my understanding.
He washed 1,000 colonies.
Yep.
And hey, Nancy,
I'd have a shaker table too.
Well, no, somebody invented a shaker machine where it actually swirls the cup around like that, And he said the contact is in the links, and I went to it, but it doesn't show it. It looks, I'll say, kind of home. It's definitely homemade.
Yeah, it looks like a wooden box.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. And that gal I was telling you about for the 12 hives, it turned out to be 5 alive ones.
Oh, really?
You know, the rest of them are dead outs with wax moth and worms and
Yeah.
Yep.
all that stuff. And so she was going to relocate redesign it because he had it. The guy originally had it in 3 rows back to back, and I said, "See here, we're working on this hive. The darn bee flight path is right behind us on the other hive. We had just gotten into them. They're going to come up behind us and sting us." I said, I like a row like that where you can work, get one done, and you go away from that one and keep going down the line.
Yep.
And so they're going to get some, she does flowers and stuff. And so they know about like that cloth that keeps the grass
All the
out.
ground cloth and stuff like that.
Yeah, ground. She knows she's dealt with all that stuff. I said, well, put down a ground cloth thing. And I gave him my measurements on my racks that I make. And I said, get paper or cat blocks. And so that's what she's going to do. And I said, look, I said, you got stuff here. There's a lot of mediums, and there was a lot of like deep and 2 mediums type situation there. And it just kind of looked, more
they
or
were
less.
the ones that I got that were like that were bulging at the seams, and I'm dropping second deeps on them. Now, all that foundation that was in there was all wired up true wax foundation.
Yeah,
So,
I seen that.
yep.
Yeah.
So, boy, the wax moths make a mess of that. Whew.
Yeah, they do.
I went through all the deeps that I had that were dead outs and cleaned up.
Well, that's what I told her when I left. I said, look, go out there and take all that stuff out of there, clean it up. I said, she doesn't know anything. I said, she's going to take the class and all that stuff. And I said, 5 hives is
Plenty.
plenty. I got thinking about it coming home. I said, I need to text her back, say, look, take all them boxes there. That's good because now you've got boxes to work with.
Yep.
And I said, there were some supers there that the frames weren't brood frames. They were honey frames, and they had some nice wax on them. I said, this is salvageable. All this stuff is good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I went through those deeps, I mean, they were just chewed apart, the ones that were loaded up real bad with the wax moths. And I, took the frames out and not sure kind of how I'm going to handle that totally. But I don't know if I want to try and feed them through the wax melter and get what wax I can out of them, or that seems like a big pain in the ass for me. But I did clean the boxes out, scraped them out, you know what I mean? Got them cleaned up, and I got them repurposed with frames in them ready to go on the rest of the bees. So,
yep. So if everybody will notice, I got a scroll going across the bottom of my screen. The Virginia State Beekeepers Conference. I've listed the speakers. We're going to have vendors. Vendors area is going to be open both days. And I put a link in there for registration.
Does that sell
That's the
out?
October conference, October 25th, 26th.
I say that. Does that sell out?
We're hoping it's going to sell out this year. Somebody saw a comment about a queen in here. Yep, I have mated queens, Tyler, ready to go. How did you settle on your consultation fee?
It was cash in hand.
Uh-huh.
I asked Brian how much he charged an hour and all that kind of stuff. So I settled for $50 an hour. I didn't really,
Ain't bad.
So that's what I got. Went down there and, like I say, first we went through it. I said, that's a dead out. Let's go through that. Show her what a wax worm looks like, what a wax moth looks like, what they does, you know, all the crud. And I said, all right, now we're done with this. And then let's go here and get through the hives. And then like one of them had a honey super on it, didn't even, you know, have anything in it. I said, take that off. One of them had some honey on it. And I said, and she's a sort of short girl. And I said, pick that up and put it down on the next pallet next door, you know. And then she found out what kind of weight. And then I took my Harbor Freight aluminum bench down there with me. Now I said, this is what you need. I said, set it here, and all you got to do is swing to the left or to the right, whatever's comfortable for you, and set it. Of course, they had migratory, but he did have a rim on there. So we flipped them up. And she could see the advantage of having that where you didn't have to bend down to the ground. It's 16, 18 inches up off the ground. And you know, I said, best thing to do is just leave the honey on there, maybe feed them if they need it later on. They don't have extraction equipment. I said, leave all that honey on there, let them have it. And then I said, you know, wait till it gets cold to move them. But in the meantime, make the area for the move, get it all set up. They do have a tractor with a front end loader on it, you know, a bucket.
Sorry about that, everybody.
So they said they could slide the hives onto that bucket and haul them over there and slide them off. I told them, you know, get some hardware cloth, showed them that, screen them in.
So let's start delving into the topic for tonight, if y'all don't mind. So, Charlie, tell us about your condensing hives. How did you set them up, and how did you come to the conclusion to do them like you did them last year?
Well, I researched it. I happened to be lucky enough that the Maryland State Beekeepers Association had there's a guy up in New Hampshire. I forget what his name is right now. But anyway, he talks about the condensing hive, talks about how, you know, he wraps them with insulation and then also the insulation around all four sides, insulation up on the roof, up on the top of the inner cover, and that kind of stuff. And so I got to talk with him, which is you know, you can watch all the videos you want, but when you get to talk to a guy, you know, I says, well, you have all these folks out there wanting to feed throughout the darn middle of the winter. And he says, yeah, he says, you know, we used to feed them up and then we're done for the winter and you don't open them up, you know. And then he was also talking about, he said, that's the way you should do it. And, you know, not fond it all the way through the middle of the winter and all that stuff. And he also said with the condensing hive, he learned the hard way where, what would you say? The bees will, in a condensing hive, think of it this way. There's a heat dome in the top and the bees will stay up in that heat dome and they cluster kind of holding on to the inner cover. And he went out there one winter and he took the lid off and he pulled that inner cover up and here's 3 pounds of bees that fell out on the snow. Oh. And he said that, you know, so he said what he learned to do then is actually make like a screen cover. So when you take it out, they're still inside, they're in the hive without attaching themselves. Now, bees will chew on insulation. So I got to thinking about it, and different friends of mine in my club do it, have done it for quite a few years. I think Nancy will tell that up at Chester County, Pennsylvania, they've done not so much wrapping the hive, but also the insulation up on top. And so I was talking to him about it, and he said, oh, yeah, he says, insulating up on top is, if you don't have it on the wall, wooden boxes on the side, you can insulate up on top. And I also, when I, let me see if I can go back to one of my pictures. Let's see. There they are. As you can see right there, I have carpet from the ground up. It's not so much of an insulator. It's a wind block. And I tie that on there with the ratchet straps. And so what I did was I made a little, I'd say 1/4 inch, 3/8 piece of wood, a little rectangle, enough to cover up that inner cover slotted escape hole. And then I put my 1.5 inch insulation on top of that. Then I put my telly cover on top of that. And the sides of the telly cover pretty much cover up the insulation. I was kind of worried about that, but it works fine. And, if it's cold, the moisture might condense on the inner cover. But with the insulation, it's like in your house. You put insulation in there, it keeps the surface warm on the inner cover, and the moisture doesn't condense there. And the side walls are colder, and the moisture will condense on the side walls. And the bees will actually drink that moisture for water for themselves. And I had not a problem with any, like, quote, wet bees or anything like that. And I cover up the screen bottom board with coroplast. And I do put the little wedges in that kind of hold it up tight. Now, I do that because I also vaporize through the winter time, at least a couple times a month. So I'm trying to keep the vapor in as much as possible. I put in a reducer. I used to have reducers that had, like, they looked like dental molding, where they had 3/8 by 3/8 by 3/8 slots, or maybe 1/2 inch tall and 3/8 wide for like a single bee. And I had 6 slots in there, and that was a keep the bee, keep the entrance reduced, but also a mouse guard. Never really had any mouse problems. I've got entrance reducers last year that they were 4 inches wide, 3/8 tall. And I just said, you know what? I'm not going to bother with them. I'm just going to leave them in there. And I had no problems with that. And of course, I don't know. It does. I know that some people have pallets close to the ground, and the mice can walk right up in there. And I know they could probably jump up on that board there too, but I never really had any problems with that. And that's
what about the plexiglass lids that you put on? How did they do?
They didn't do well at all, even though they had insulation on them. They both of them hives had issues. Now, whether it was because the plexiglass, or whether it's because of the wood is a better insulator. Obviously, I think wood is, and all that. I also had a licensed 6-frame nuke hive. It was basically 12 frames. It was double deep.
Mm-hmm.
And it had 4 holes in the top, which I closed up. Never actually had them opened up at all. They have wedges, I guess you call them, that you put them in there, which closes them up, or you can open them up for ventilation. Never did any of that. It comes with a propolis trap, which I've had other beekeepers, they didn't quite understand it. Well, they were complaining because there's this dome Well, that hive is designed for the kind of feeders I have for my nukes. You can put the nuke feeder on there that's got the wide, I don't know, wings on the side. That's where that lid sits on there, and the dome is what so the feeder can stick up inside that dome. Well, they would take the propolis trap off. Well, the propolis trap is the inner cover for that hive. And you put the propolis trap on, the bees will propolize it to whatever they like to keep that heat in. And then, of course, you lock the lid down with the latches. And they had no upper ventilation. And downstairs, I had 4 round discs or holes for ventilation. I left one of them open. And not mistaken, I think they might have propolized that one down. They didn't like that either. They liked, and then they had the entrance in the front and all that. Now, see, that was one of the things I can't. Let me look, see if I can. I forget what his name is.
JW, how are you tonight?
I'm tired and stung up. I just got run out of the bee yard.
There he is.
Uh-oh.
I got a question. That's the reason I come on.
Okay.
You experts. I had my first swarm last night at 5 o'clock, and I went out this evening, and I've got another swarm at 5 o'clock. I've got, in this one yard, I made a little video of it, but the bees run me out of the bee yard. I had to cut the video short because they decided they didn't like me in there, and I got stung on the face and the ears and about the body and legs and the whole bit. I didn't have anything on but a t-shirt and shorts, so they worked me over. But my question is, I'm having these fall swarms I've never had before. It's tremendously hot here. Humidity is 76 right now, and it's 89 right now here. There's a heat advisor here. My bees, and I made a video on it, anybody that's subscribed to my little YouTube channel, they're bearding like I've never seen. I mean, they're just solid on the outside. I think they're leaving the hive just to get out of the heat. I really do. There's more bees on the outside than there's on the inside. The only thing I may be doing wrong, and I want a couple of suggestions or thoughts maybe by the chat or you guys, is I reduce my entrances this time of year. When you go into the earth, I reduce my entrances down to 3/8, so about 2.5, 3 inches. I just wondered, I've got my boxes offset with one another, to give them vented. I'm about half and half on ventilated bottoms. I don't have any of them completely open, but I've got most of them at least half open. That I've got screens on, and the other half are solid. And I can't really tell never have in the past told a big difference on whether they were solid or screened. So. What's everybody's thoughts? You think I've got them too tight? And that's part of my reason.
Philip wants to know how many boxes you're on each hive.
Well, I've got everything from 1 single deep to 3 deeps and 2 supers. About all my stuff's 8 frames. I've got a few 10 frames, but I thought they had plenty of room. I haven't been in them this hot weather. I just made up my mind I was gonna treat with the Apigard, and I'm holding off till the weather's supposed to break Wednesday here.
Yeah.
So
you may see a change in them after Wednesday too, JW. It might be because it's too hot for them. It could very well be it's too hot.
Well, I feel like that's the reason. I've never had the problems in the past, but I had 15 excuse me. I had 15 swarms this spring. after I'd made all my splits and stuff, they started swarming on me, and I'm on my second one. I had one yesterday evening. I got one. I've got one this evening. I've got a swarm catcher. I got a 65-foot high lift. So I've got the high lift set up underneath them. If they're there in the morning, I'm going to get them too. I got the one from last night back this morning. But I've been happy.
Yeah, Todd said put them entrances wide open, and right now, because I've been doing April Guard and I'm doing Formicare in the next several weeks, I've left them. I gave them wide open.
Yeah, the bearding I wouldn't be worried about. I agree with
I'm
Tom
not worried
on that.
about bearding, but I've never seen them beard this bad. I mean, I've got 4 and 5 frame hives. It's three of the 4 sides are the side that's facing the sun. All my beehives are in full sun. Every yard I've got is in full sun, and the only place that they're not bearded is on this. This afternoon late is, of course, up on the side that's facing the sun. It's hot against it. They don't even beard on it. But the rest of them, some of them solid from top to bottom,
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of flow on at this point, JW?
Maybe some soybeans would be about it.
Okay.
I've got maybe a few soybeans. I'm in my beehives every day. I know I don't look it, but I am retired, and I'm able to get in the bee yards every day. So I walk through them and check my landing boards every day. So tops are insulated, Philip. I just don't have the answers. I just looking for. I've never had the swarm problems that I've had, and I've never had a swarm this time of year before. This is the 17th and 18th of August, y'all remember. I'm in southeast Illinois, which we're hot and humid, but we're always hot and humid this time of year. So
I don't know. You might try throwing some light syrup on them.
I'm feeding about half of them, Bill. I'm feeding, and it's very light. I'm maybe 1 to 1.5.
Yeah.
It ain't 1 to 1. It's
right.
I
mean, they're leaving. They could be hot. They could be hungry. When was the last time you treated?
2 weeks ago.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure it's not an overload of mites then.
I normally go 4 grams, 4 times, 4 days apart, and I even went 5 times this last go around, just because I was going to do my April Guard, and it just got so ungodly hot here that I'm afraid to do it. But starting Wednesday, I'm going to start on them, I guess.
Are they Todd wants to know, are they absconding or swarming?
I don't know. I've still got bees in the hives. I've opened up the ones from yesterday. They're still 3 or 4 frames of hive in the in the brood chamber, or 3 or 4 frames of bees in the brood chambers on them. So they're not absconding. They're just I didn't check. It's so doggone hot, and the bees are in such a nasty frame of mind. I didn't venture in too deep or too long.
Do you have brood in the brood chamber?
Yeah. Yeah. So
have you thought about putting a screen on the top of them and give them a little air out the top?
I've got some of them, the ones that I'm feeding, I've got screens in the top of them, or the.
Okay.
I've been at this a day or two, fellas, and I don't claim to be an expert by no means, and that's the reason I'm asking. This has been the year from Hades in my, for my bee operation.
Oh yeah. Well,
had all that rain and hot and cold, and we've had everything known to man, and it's here. Had a decent year on the honey. Had trouble getting my honey dried down. Just been one thing after another.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're doing the right things, JW. I mean, we've had a screwy year all over the United States, and it could be, it's just they decided to swarm late.
I'm a little reluctant, somebody on the chat here says open them hives completely up. I'm a little reluctant to do that.
Yeah, I would be too, because you don't know what's going to get in them.
It's I've actually got out some, I call them robin stations. I got out some scattered little feeding stations.
Yep.
And I put some sugar water in them. I had some old honey that I didn't want to mess with. It was kind of nasty, and I even stuck a little it out away from all away from the yards. And
Yep.
really the bumblebees are they're eating it up, but my honeybees aren't. Usually if you've got a dearth, that's the way I kind of check for dearths is put out those robin stations, and they're not that active going to them, so they're getting something someplace, I think.
Yeah,
After a lot of water, every place you got water, there's bees coming to it that can water there. So
yeah,
I'm just kind of stumped, and I'm also very aggravated. I hate swarms, and I've had 18 this year in my 50-ish, give or take, hives. I've had 18 of them swarm this year. Anybody got any information that they think's applicable? Shoot her at me, because I'm willing to look. I may not.
I don't know. It seems like to me, JW, you're doing pretty much everything right.
Yeah, you're doing everything right.
I mean you got ventilation, you got treatment, you got, unless the bees are just need another box like on a single or something.
Well, I've actually reduced some of them down. They're just those singles are or hives that I've I call them starter hives. It's they're just not ready for a
right.
They've got plenty of room in them.
But the bigger hives, I mean, you could put a little bit more room on them, and that way the heat will get up higher off of the bees that are in the bottom. So that may cool them down some.
I mean, the other thing that I do is I always have my little wooden blocks on my inner covers where I jack that telly lid up.
I've got some of that too, Charlie.
Just to get a little bit of ventilation. But you got, like you say, any other thing I would say is take the reducers out.
Yeah.
And see whether that gives them a better airflow.
Yeah.
Well, you've taken care of the resources. You've put feeding stations out. You've treated, so that eliminates pest or disease. They've got good water source, right? Somewhere they can go to get water.
I've got too much water source. I've got.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got lakes all over the place, they say.
So that reduces your environmental stress.
I've got.
You've got
flies to the thousands. I couldn't even get a queen mated, right now, and I could fly a jet. I don't think.
Yeah. So the only things you got left are overcrowding, a queen issue, or and beekeeper interference.
Here comes my mentor. He can answer my question. Well, I'm in really bad trouble.
Now, James, please, he still thinks it's possibly treatment. Still the problem, maybe. I don't know. I mean, you said you treated 4 or 5 times at OA. I mean, how much more you need?
Yeah. So I wouldn't put the ApiGuard on them till, I'd wait a couple more weeks at least. Give them a chance to settle down, cool off, and get back to normal before you treat them.
But right now, I don't care if they all abscond.
Could you push the brood up and put a queen excluder and give her?
You might do that. That's a lot of work. I'm no kid,
Yeah.
That's a lot of work to lift up all those hives and go clear to the bottom, and start over.
Yeah.
Some of them's 4, at least some of them's 4 deep still.
Ouch. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to give her space and keep them in the box.
I am too, but almost at a loss for words. Other than the fact, I'll be honest with everyone. I have not disturbed these hives as hot as it was. I figured they was under enough stress. I tried to give them all the ventilation I could.
Yeah.
And have them cleaned up from the mites, but they just. But I haven't been, in them deep. I've tried to stay out of them.
Yeah, it's been too darn hot. That's for darn sure.
Well, that leaves two issues: overcrowding, or you got a queen problem.
Yeah, I could have some queen problems. I'll admit to that. And some of them must be there.
I wonder if James was saying here about.
Yeah,
James,
they don't ventilate at all. They run a full entrance and insulated top.
Yeah. I just use bubble wrap or double bubble, whatever you want to call it, for my insulation on the top of them.
Yeah.
Is all I use. I don't use inner covers at all.
And that's probably the best thing
for
to
10
use
years, probably.
So you got migratory with foamy.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ones I'm feeding is migratory, of course.
James was talking about if they're trying to requeen, you got multiple queens, you could have small swarms.
Well, this one I rehived this morning was probably 6 frames of bees. It was a big. I had a one of those what them ladies in Indiana that make those hive butlers. Is that what they're called? Hive totes.
Yeah,
hive butlers.
yeah.
I guess it was pretty. I had bees all. I had a bunch of bees in. I'm going to say 6 when I got them gathered in. This little old swarm I had this evening, they may have re-swarmed on me because they didn't. The swarm's not too far from where I put them, But I haven't dug in them to see that yet. But if they're there in the morning, I'll catch them again. So.
JW, on the ones you said, the solid bottoms.
Yes.
You still got them reduced?
I do have, Joy. That may be my problem. I don't know.
Any of the ones that I have solid bottoms, or if it's a screen bottom with something under it, blocking the air,
No.
I always try to open the front all the way up.
Yeah.
And if I'm worried about robbing, I'll just take a couple pieces of screen and still close off about 2/3 of that. And they can still
an idea, but
they can still clear the air.
Maybe my minnow is going to come through. Maybe I'll try that.
Another thing I would do is just throw a box of plastic on top, give them just space. No more comb, just space.
Yeah.
Yep. You can do that too. Just give them the space to let the heat rise, and the heat will stay at the top, and the cool air will populate the bottom of it. So,
I've got 50 spacers. I was getting ready to put on the apron guard. I've got 50 spacers laid out in my bee yard right now. I guess I can stick them on there.
2 inches.
Well, something that reminds me, JW, when I was getting ready to do apron guard, I had screen bottom boards. I had the entrance wide open. I put the chloroplast in, and they were all bearded up on the front of the hive. But then when I put that 2-inch shim on there for the apron guard, I don't know whether because it gave them more space up in the top, but you didn't have all that bearding and everything.
Yeah.
They seemed like that they were cooler. And my hives are, right out in the middle of the sun. So, they're getting direct sunlight and all.
Yeah, but we're not getting the heat right now like AW's getting.
No, but I had those other days, where we had 90, 95 degree days, and the chloroplast was in there for a month. Now here recently, since I've taken the 2-inch shim off, so I pulled those chloroplast boards out. I was, of course, inspecting the mite drops and things like that.
You could probably do like Bob Benny does sometimes too. He'll slide his boxes.
I've got them offset, Joey. I've got about every one of them offset for additional ventilation. I do have.
I've never done that, but it looked like a good idea.
Well,
to deal with rain.
Get them another place to beard, I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's what they do. Because just like the box I changed out, the hole kept growing.
Yeah.
That beard got as big as the bottom
bad
did.
beard, you know, some of them.
Yep.
If you want to see it, if they posted it, they didn't kick me off because the bees run me out of the bee yard. I had to cut it short, but I just posted a video on YouTube. Soapstone Farms honeybees. Anybody wants to take a gander at it? Because I got through 2/3 of 1 yard and they run me out of it. They stung me out of it. I got it on the face here, and I got it on here, and I got it on the neck 3 times, and I got it on both legs and my arms, and they didn't want me in there. They sent me on my way.
Yeah, like now you said your heat's going to end here in a couple days, so Tom may have a good point. Let it ride for a couple more days, and see what they do.
Yeah. I'm going to get I'm going to get that swarm again in the morning. If they're still there, I've already got my swarm catcher underneath them, and I'm ready to box them up. Other than that, I've been trying to leave them alone, so that's.
Yeah.
But, it's aggravating when you think you work your hind end off to try to keep them in the boxes, and they won't stay there. I get a little upset with them. They don't cooperate.
Yeah, well, they got a mind of their own too, so.
Yeah. Oh, well, it is what it is. But
they don't always do what we want them to do.
I appreciate the comments, folks. That's the main reason I come on, Bill, was just to.
That's fine, JW. You're welcome to come in anytime and ask anything you want.
So I don't.
So Charlie, did you figure out the name of the person or name of the whatever it was you were looking for? So Will, what do you do as far as fall and winter management with your hives?
You guys are going to shoot me on that. I put a candy board on top with an upper entrance.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually have a total of about 2 inches of foam insulation is what kind of the total ends up being. And then I wrap a 10 millimeter double bubble around the outside and black tar paper.
Oh.
And I put 1/2 inch hardware cloth across my entrances, both top and bottom, just to make sure no birds or mice get in. So I'm kind of all over the place on that a little bit.
Yeah. And then, and talking about the, check out William Heschbeck. He's got some nice diagrams on how all that insulated condensing hives work.
Okay.
And all that. And then, really, it's like Bill said, Heschbeck, it's like your beehives that you sell, Bill.
The Enel hives.
The Enel hives. They're insulated hives. They're just like that licensed nuke that I had.
Mm-hmm.
That's a condensing hive.
It is.
And your bees will not eat as much food through the winter because they don't. I always thought that they would eat more food because they would be warmer, but because they're warmer, they don't have to shiver. In turn, they don't have to eat to keep the energy up to shiver in order to make the heat in the hive.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to feed. They take less feed to get through the winter.
Right.
And all. And I think you also found that they brood up a little bit faster too.
They do. They start brooding up typically a week to 2 weeks earlier than most other hives.
Yeah, in DC, that's not quite correct. They do insulation. They will have a thicker amount of R value insulation on the roof or the top. They have a lesser R value on the side, so the moisture on the inside of the hive will condense on the sidewalls because it's going to be cooler. but that's where the bees get their moisture to drink and, let's say, liquefy honey and things like that.
Right.
And Heschbeck talks about all that kind of stuff. He's a master beekeeper. He's also some kind of an engineer.
Yeah.
All that. And there's a couple different videos that he's done and everything. We actually had him he zoomed into our bee club too.
Those slatted racks, I think that's the word for them.
Yeah, there was a guy in here.
Anybody ever use those?
Somebody was in the chat here, talked about where his slatted rack, when he insulated on all four sides, his slatted rack got mold on it. Now, I think the idea behind this, I mean, a slat rack is an old idea. I know that some people up here, Jason Crook uses them, and they're kind of an extension, I guess you would call it, for the bees.
Mm-hmm.
They hang, well, the bottom frames of the bottom box are up inside more so, protecting against cold air coming to the entrance, which in turn the bees will hang down farther on the comb and then brood that area up more so. It's what I have. But I don't know. I mean, just another piece of equipment, I think.
Yeah, I never have seen the need to use them down here.
Many years ago, we used a couple slatted racks, and my grandfather didn't like them, so he took them off. So they only lasted about 6 months.
Well, DC says they block the inflow if the cold air. It traps the cooler air
under the rack.
Air under the rack. I guess. I don't know. You know, it's just like we have the discussion over screen bottom boards, solid bottom boards, and all that stuff. And I've heard, I'm not sure how this, I mean, I guess Phil would be better on answering this question is I've heard out west in Texas where it's super hot that they use screen bottoms because it's so hot out there.
Yeah, they do.
And all that's sort of standard equipment for them.
Yep.
And all that.
And it pays to use them out there because of the heat.
Yeah, Pete Morris, he said he likes slatted racks, but I think I will modify them to take the shelf off. I guess it's a landing board.
No, the ones we used to use, they were looked like a spacer that went above the landing board.
That's right.
And the bees would crawl up through it.
And the board it's going is always in parallel with the frames.
Yes.
Yep, the bottom of the frame.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of like an extension of the frame, but only it's wood.
Yeah. And the ones we used were it was an alternating slatted rack. You had one up high, one down low, one up high, one down low, and all the way across like that.
Now, Brent Wells there, he said he's in Texas and they don't use screens. They use regular solid bottoms.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Texas is big, though.
Texas is a big place, though.
Yeah, is it North Texas or South Texas or West Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've learned that because it's so big. It's the climate areas.
Yeah, you got probably 5 or 6 different climates down there. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Philip. I think it reduces. I like it in the summer. That's why I did pull the chloroplast out to monitor the mites after this Apricard treatment. And but then I left them out since we had these hot spells. Now we got a cool week this week, and we had some misty rain. And you were talking about rain in the beginning of the chat. I believe we got 3/4 of an inch Sunday night.
Yeah, we got 2/10 Sunday night. So
Down there in Waco.
Joey, what do you do for fall and winter management? Anything?
You don't have winter.
You don't have winter down there, though.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, 2 days. That's what everybody tells me.
Most times, my boxes are full right now for this dearth part of the summer we have.
Yeah.
And once they get through that and we start getting a little fall flow, I'll check them, keep an eye on them. If they got enough coming in, I don't do much. If their goldenrod doesn't do too good, I might put out a little sugar water.
Yeah.
I've only had to do that once or twice since I've been in it.
Okay.
Yeah, here I put insulation in for winter today and take it out tomorrow.
Yep.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I use the Enel hives. And like Charlie was saying earlier, they are a condensing hive that's totally insulated. And the insulation on top, on the lid, in the lid, is 1 inch to 1.5 inches, but the sides are 3/4 of an inch. And when you figure the R value for the entire box, it's an R7. So we close 3 of the 4 lid vents, and we leave one on the leeward side of the hive open. Because as the winter wind comes over top of the hive here in the mid-Atlantic, it draws the excess moisture out, like your gable ends on your house do. They do the same thing. Bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
And I've been really successful with them and been really happy with them. Then in the summer, we open all 4 of those vents up and get a cross breeze across the top. And it's a solid bottom board. So it works really well for what we do with it. And we get a lot better honey production out of it than I get out of a wooden hive. Much better honey production because the bees don't beard. I got pictures from a 100 plus degree day here in the apiary. All my wooden hives are covered with bees. The Enel hives, they're still working. So we're happy with them. We like them.
So are you saying that the interior of the hive is cooler so they feel like working then?
It's cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter. And they don't have to work as hard to keep it warm in the winter.
Yeah, I know
because of that condensing property heating the hive for them. And they don't eat near as much food. I can cut them down to 2 boxes in the winter, a deep and a medium, and they'll get through the winter just fine with honey left over.
Yeah, I've experienced that with that licensed hive, that insulated hive.
Yeah.
They
and you know, everybody worries about the deterioration of the plastic. Well, I've got hives out there that have been in full sun for 2 years and they're not deteriorated whatsoever. And the insulation in it is still just like it was from day one.
All right, Matt's got a question. He put Formic Pro on. He's got 2 hives with screens, and he never put back the tray back in. Should I put the tray back in? Yes.
Yep.
Formic is number 1, entrance wide open. Number 2, screen bottom board closed up, the gas is heavier than air. It sinks down.
Yep.
And number 2, don't open them up for 2 weeks because that disturbs the or off gassing, I guess you would call it.
It breaks up the off gas.
I think you'll find that information in that NOD pamphlet, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know that the NOD education pamphlet is on the website. I think it might be. But they did put out a pamphlet at NABI last year. First time they've ever done that, as for education of how to use, when to use, and which choice of treatment you should pick for your bees. So
Yeah.
NOD was very informative about that this year. So
yep. But
Yeah.
that's why, I mean, when it comes to, in my comparison of AprilGuard and Formic Pro, the setup is pretty much the same. Fully open entrance, close up your screen bottom boards, and then, well, with AprilGuard, you have to have a shim, make sure that the bees can crawl over top of that gel and remove it and stuff.
but it's okay for everyone to think I went wrong.
Yeah, Matt. What's that? Sorry.
I was reading DC's comment. It's not that you're doing something wrong, DC. It's whatever works for your bees is what you should be doing.
And DC's out in Washington State, and he's got a lot of different type of weather conditions out there. He's in the American rainforest, as they call it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I do, Matt.
Yeah.
I got 10 frame. I put double pads on. I do it at 80 degrees or less.
Yep.
With what, like right now, this week here where I'm at is low humidity, and it's about it. The high will be 80 at the most. And I've done my double nukes where it might be 3 mediums or 2 deeps. Get down in there wherever the brood is and I put one pad on there. And I never really had any problems. Now that also something that was brought up in another chat that I did last year probably. Now my nukes are like miniature 10 frame hives.
Yep.
They have a screen bottom board with an entrance the full width of that box. They don't have a bird hole in there with a disc on it or anything like that. So that also makes a difference as far as ventilation.
It does. It makes a big difference. And you got to remember the directions tell you that a minimum of 6 frames of bees. Right?
Yeah, I never had a problem there, but I will have to say this: I had a single deep last year, and it didn't have a lot. It had. I ain't gonna say it had 6 frames of bees in there. It was a young hive, and I put a pad on it, and I killed it. And I was leery to whether or not to do that. And now I know if it ain't a 5/5, which is 10 frame hive, it's just vertical.
Yep, that's it.
It's all it is. It's vertical. It's basically a 10 frame deep, but it's vertical. And the one pad works well. The 2 pads on a regular 10 frame full size hive works good. You got to remember that the 2 pad per Dr. Sammy Ramsey, it does penetrate the cappings better. You have a better kill. Where the 1 pad every, I think it's 10 days or something like that, Yeah, it penetrates the cappings, but not as efficient as the 2-pad method.
Right.
So, yeah, this week I would have no problem putting Formic on. I'm just, I just finished up Apricot. I'm going to give them 3 or 4 weeks, and then I'll stick Formic in September sometime.
So I guess half that mouse DC was plenty warm, and the other half was kind of frozen, huh? So, all right. Now, Charlie, you use hive top feeders.
Yeah.
Right? So, is that your feeder of choice, or do you have a mixture of types of feeders?
I have one type of feeder. It's all high top feeders. That's what I started with 16 years ago. I looked at. I started out with a license top hive feeders. I still got a few of them left. They're plastic. They're designed for a licensed hive. They have that wide rim around the edge. That's where that lid's supposed to come down and push, and you're supposed to sandwich that strip in between the top of the side walls and the lid and all that. But the problem of it is, if you need to take that feeder off, they're wiggly. They're plastic and they'll twist on you, and then you might spill some sugar water. So then Man Lake came out with those medium supers or shallow super feeders. It's got the 2-gallon and 2-gallon with the screen in the middle. And I didn't buy them right away. And now they've come out a second generation of them. And if you ever look at them, when that screen goes down in the bottom where the well is, there is a like dental molding across there out of plastic. And that holds that bottom screen in from being pushed out by the bees. And then some of them I've seen where they maybe put a bead of silicone around the ends. I haven't had any bee problems that way. My main thing with the bees is when it comes to drowning is if you put I usually put my inner cover on top and then my telly or just a telly, and it doesn't get quite sealed. Now, sometimes you've got the yellow jackets, which I don't care whether they die. And then sometimes you get my regular bees. Of course, you're sort of creating that robbing problem too, if they get in there. Now, one thing you can do is go to the hardware store and buy that. I think it's 3/8 wide, double. It's it's a foam insulation with a adhesive strip that you pull it off. You can put that strip way around that insulator, and then when you cinch your top down, it'll seal up all the gaps and then alleviates all that. If you have that problem, I haven't done any of that to my hives. I usually I don't have too much of a problem, getting my tops are pretty good shape. They seal pretty good and all that. So that's why I like the problem with some people like the what do you call it? The frame feeder.
Yeah, in frame feeder.
Frame feeder. Well, then you lose a frame. Do you take the front? Some people leave that free feeder in the hive all year, winter and everything else. There's some drowning issues with those. Different models have different ways of doing that. You can, if you got a migratory lid, you can kind of slide it over and fill, and then kind of keep the bees in there, and then slide it back. You can work it that way. What else? And then Boardman feeders, they just create robbing.
That's
problems.
a whole nother issue there. That's all. That's
robbing. Those you just throw them away.
Yeah.
And what else? What other kind of feeders are there? Then there's buckets, but
There's buckets,
that's more of a commercial aspect, I think. I never got into buckets. I know that different beekeepers, they kind of emulate they either switch from telecovers to migratories, and to me, financially, I try to keep with one thing. Now, I went to a conference, and I don't know whether she's a PhD now or not, but she's an extension agent, I think, in Minnesota. She's also a commercial beekeeper, and that's Megan Milbreath. She was running about 300 hives, working up. She was also running nukes, and she did her own queen rearing. I think it's out in the Midwest there, Missouri, I think. Mm-hmm. Missouri, Illinois, somewhere's in that area there. And she's also out of the college area and an extension office and stuff like that. And she did a talk about transitioning from, let's say, a sideliner to a commercial. And he says, look, you got to make decisions here. You got to okay, you got a backyard beekeeper. He's got a bottom board, an inner cover, and a telecover. So and then if you're going from sideliner, you might still have that kind of like what I'm doing. If you're going to go into commercial and you're maybe going to move your hives or have multiple yards and all that, then you got to think about, you need to get 2-way pallets, 4-way pallets, and that's your bottom board, and that's the way you're going to lift them hives. And then in order to put those boxes tight like that, you got to use migratory lids. So don't be spending money on all these other pieces of woodenware, because you'll be losing a lot of, you're changing over from one thing to the next, cost you money.
Right. It does. It costs you a lot of money, because either you got to build the pallets yourself or you got to buy them.
And then you got to buy the clips.
And then you got to buy the W clips. And then if you're using telecovers, you got to switch over to migratory covers. And then you got to make a decision on how you're going to feed. Because when you use migratory covers, you can use a high top feeder, but the frame feeder or the buckets on top work better.
Yeah, for that situation.
For that application.
And all that. So there's, she had a very good talk. I had never seen her before and didn't know much about her. And within about 10 minutes or less, I said, this girl, she didn't read this stuff and talk about this stuff because she read it in some book. I said, she's been living this. And sure enough, here pops up a picture of her when she's about 8 or 10 years old. Her father was a beekeeper. He had one of them aluminum hard helmets, for like the construction worker on. And then she had a veil over top of that aluminum hard helmet, hard hat.
Yep.
And she was working bees ever since she's been 10 years old and all that stuff. And so she knows what she's talking about,
She does.
And she's very, I was quite impressed with her and all that. But her premise of her talk was, you got to have to know where you're going to go, what you're going to do before you spend all this money on let's say tele lids, and now you're going to change your mind and go to migratory lids. And you went from inner covers and tele lids to migratory. You got to make that decision and you stick with it. And that's where I'm at. I just stuck with the style of the backyard beekeeper style, I'll say, with the tele lids, inner covers. like I got a hive out there right now that I've got a quart jar of Pro Sweet on there. I just stick it over top of the inner cover. I put a medium super on, put the telly lid on top of that, and I'm good to go. And that kind of stuff. And so, you know, it's like the Pro Sweet. Pro Sweet, the main thing about that is they can't smell it. You can have it, you can be feeding a weak hive and they won't get robbed out or killed by the other bees because they can't smell it. And I use it in my mating yard all the time. And I learned that the hard way. I had a 2-frame mating box that's nicely filled, all kinds of bees. You got a virgin queen in there. You put a pint jar of sugar water on there, some 1-to-1, and then a half hour later, that whole hive is completely dead because they were attacked over that sugar water, and they killed all the bees in there so they could get that sugar water. So that's where the Pro Sweet comes in.
Yeah.
And all that. And I did try to use it as my main feeding source, and because of pumps and things like that, and I had already set up with what I've got now with 40-gallon tanks and all that, I didn't want to invest into an expensive pump or just spend any money, period. And so I just kept with my normal mixing machine and all that stuff.
Yep.
So anyway, that's the, you know, that's what it's personal preference of what you like to use.
It is. It's all personal preference. So, you know, everybody has what they like, and they use what they like, and they use what works for them. So it all makes sense. So,
well, it's like some beekeepers will leave, quote, honey on the hive, so many pounds and pounds of it, you know, and or they'll be pulling honey, but they'll leave a certain amount of honey on there. And I'm like, $12 to $15 a pound, 60 cents a pound, let's say, for sugar. I think I'm going to spend the money on sugar and replace the honey and make more money with the honey money than I can with the sugar.
right.
But then if they bring in honey here, you know, let's say some lanternfly honey or whatever they're bringing in right now, maybe there's a trickle of something coming in. Yeah, I'm not going to take that. And I don't have a fall flow like some people do. And I know a friend of mine 20 miles up the road, he's along the Susquehanna River. He's got a fall flow, and he'll harvest that fall. He'll get 500 pounds in a fall flow, which I've unheard of for me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have that, you know, but he's on the Susquehanna River. You've got quarter-mile banks up beside these mountains, you might call them. They're not really mountains, but they're cliffs, I guess you would call them. And they got all kinds of trees and flowers and stuff because it's sort of a watershed area. So you got a lot of natural stuff there for his bees to catch. Mm-hmm. And then he's got some BB trees, which are, they call them invasive because they didn't grow up here, and like the tallow, but the bees love them. And then he's got some customers that are from India and places like that, or over in Asia, where that's the kind of honey that they are used to getting, and they buy it by the cases from him.
Yeah,
because that's the kind of taste that they're looking for. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. I mean, Joey, you're down there, and I mean, do you have a flow pretty much year round down there, or do you have a dearthy area? You got to unmute.
We start getting a little trickle in late February, not a whole lot, just enough to kind of perk them up. And then in March, we got a flow. And in June, it starts slowing back down. And then it really.
What about July, August, September, November, December?
If they stay in July and August, it's pretty much always shut down. And about mid-September, we might start getting a little bit of something back in.
So do you ever feed your bees at all?
So, uh, I've
Probably
always
not
tried
like
not
me.
to, but I do every now and then.
You give them a little something on the side once in a while. It's like
Most-
right now, I'm making sure I don't give no more than a gallon of syrup to that one
Yeah.
hive.
I
I'll
can't
give
say
them
I don't feed, but when I'm making nukes in the spring, I feed those. You know, a lot of times I'll feed those. Now in the fall, like I said, I've only probably fed 2, maybe 3 falls out of since I started
There you
beekeeping.
go. Now with me, I'll drop 200 gallons on them, and that's to get them through winter because they're shut down. You know,
Now last fall I fed uh, just to keep them from robbing each other because they got where they was really wanting to. You could see it mainly in my big yard. You could see it. They were all just fighting all the time. So I put something that would feed real slow out there and just kind of get their attention off each other.
yeah.
Yep.
Now, Philip, you say you had some honeydew. Now, is that from spotted lanternfly or some other type of bug out there?
I can't be spotted lanternfly. I hadn't made it that far.
That's true.
But I will say it's making its way west.
Well, I've
So
seen more this year as far as the lanternfly, and I'm wondering whether there's enough of it around that my bees are kind of collecting some of it. When we had them bad where you couldn't walk without getting slapped in the head with one flying into you all the
Yep.
time, I'd have a super out there in 2 weeks after I pulled the honey. And then last year, we had a flow all the way through July, and what it was, I don't know. But on the other hand, something I did it like I normally do it, where last year it was a little bit wet, so I waited I was a couple weeks after 4th of July, and then I pulled my normal honey off, and they filled those supers up, but I went ahead and I treated on schedule like I normally try to do, and I didn't really have any issues, but other people had issues where they, it was like August before they ever, I'm still extracting honey and this and that, and I said, well, when are you going to treat, and they got late, and they had issues with their bees and stuff. I heard that that's kind of what happened to the boys out there out west this year. That they were capturing a late flow last year. They didn't get the treatments on quick enough, and that's why all their bees died. Or got the treatment on too late, later than normal. Who spoke at Nobby 2 years ago, Red Creek?
I don't know. They were talking about earlier about a woman that was speaking or had spoken.
I know that what's her name from Penn State spoke out there at Nobby a year ago, I guess it was.
Yeah.
That was I can't. Nancy, you know who she is. I can't remember her name. I know it when I hear it. James says Sarah Stern.
No. It was
Like Dr. Milburn. Yeah, Megan. So she is a doctor, a PhD. MSU, is that Minnesota State University? Okay, comb is good. Well, we know that. Michigan.
Oh, I know who you're talking about from Michigan. I can't think of her name right now, though.
Megan's a doctor or a veterinarian doctor. Okay. You talking about Spivak?
Yeah.
She's from Minnesota, isn't she? She retired, I think.
Yeah, she retired.
Yeah, she's retired.
She was in Minnesota, I think.
She was at Nobby. Was
Yeah,
it
a couple years ago, 3.
this year, last year, or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she had some cancer issues, from what I heard.
Hey, where y'all staying at Nobby?
I'm at the Hilton.
Hilton?
Crown Plaza.
I missed that one this time.
Fairfield End.
Yeah, we're staying over at the, I think it's a Fairfield Inn too, Joey.
And it kind of home away from home type thing, Bill, or something like that.
Home 2 Suites.
Huh?
Home 2 Suites by Hilton. That's a nice place to stay too. Crown Plaza is too busy for me. When I get there, I want to go to bed. I don't want to be up and down all night with a fire alarm.
You want to stay away from the Fairfield then, because us drunks, we drink all night, dance, party. And
I can handle that. I'll just stick my head at the door and say, y'all need to hold it down and go back to bed.
But how far is Fairfield from the gate? How far drive?
Oh, quarter of a mile.
Three-quarters of a mile.
Is it 3/4?
Yeah, it's something like that. It's between 3/4 and a mile. So either one, yeah.
I stayed at the Hilton because when I first went out there, or not went out there, but when I got on I get on Google Map and I'm searching around where everything is at, the first thing I noticed was down in the south is the airport. And I'm like, I want to stay as far away from that for all that jet noise. And so I found the Hilton up here, and then I come to find out gate number 4 is right there. I can drive out of the drive. I don't even have to get on the road. Just drive out of the parking lot and go through gate number 4. Now this year it was closed for renovation. They're going to make it as big and as nice as gate number 1. It's what they told me.
Yeah, they put in a roundabout at gate 1 last year.
Well, they put a roundabout at gate 4 too. So they're going to make it as big and nice as gate 1.
So Fairfield's not on the Nobby list, huh?
I don't think it is, honestly.
Okay.
There a couple of years.
Okay.
Do you really get much of a discount on some of the Nobby hotels?
Yeah, the discount list came out the other day.
Kind of late.
Vendors.
Yeah, a little late in the game for that.
Joey, Mike stayed there at that Fairfield with us. Well, not with us, but the same place we stayed last year. Montgomery.
Yeah.
He didn't stay up and drink all night like some of the brothers did. And a lot of the sisters. I wasn't one of them, by the way. I'm not a teetotaler, but I rarely ever touch it. And particularly bourbon. Bourbon honey, I can't even stand to be in the same room with it. I can't stand the smell of bourbon.
So what do you drink when you drink, JW?
Water mostly.
What's in the water?
Yeah, what's in the water?
More water, mostly.
Is it mountain water?
If I drank, it'd just be a beer once in a while. I'll drink a margarita or something that with a meal, you know. So I'm not a big drinker. I tell people I don't have to be drunk to be obnoxious. I can be obnoxious sober.
That's pretty true.
Yeah.
Looks like Darren's going to be bunking in the same place I am.
That bourbon honey, that's some nasty stuff. I'm telling you, folks. I'll take a sip of Fireball every now and then, Bill, if you know what that is.
I know exactly what it is.
Yeah. I like that cinnamon taste more than, but it's only a sip. I don't want no steady diet of it. I'm barely old enough to drink anyway, so
I don't know about that, JW.
they keep giving me, checking me at the checkout.
They keep checking your ID, huh?
Yeah. See if I'm alive.
Yeah, see if you're alive.
Changing the subject, if we're, how big is your extracting tank? Are you getting in line of extracting tanks with those, or the uncapping tanks? Excuse me, I say extracting, crossing my words up.
Yes, I am.
I need a bigger
line.
I need a bigger uncapping tank.
What are you using right now?
I've got a license, a small one. It's
Okay.
not wide enough. I think, if you want to know the truth, I was thinking, what's them hives? You know, them kind of off-breed hives that's narrower. Kind of like, they're kind of like a horizontal hive. That got the
Layton's
what's
hive?
the ones you had, Charlie? What's the ones you used to make?
Oh, you mean the top bar beehives?
Yeah.
You mean the company made?
No, it's a license. That's a small license, but it's only, Bill, it's only like, I don't know. I don't have it here now. I loaned it to Matt Ramsbottom to use it. I mean, it works, but it's not wide. It's not standard width wide. I'd rather it be wider.
Yeah, it's.
You mean the length of the tank for more frames to be put in there? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I want a longer one. Mine's only it might be 24 inches long. I'm not even sure of that. May not even be that.
The one that is the new line that I've got coming out, the tank is going to be deep enough to put 20 frames in it, long enough to put 20 frames in it.
Okay, something like that's what I'd be interested in. Yes.
Yeah.
And have room to uncap.
Yep, and it's on wheels, and the bottom of it is slanted down to the gate.
Well, I'm still using something that you don't like. I heard you say so. I'm still using those simple Harmony Farms. But I use a little old scratcher with it. I run vertically with the Harmony Farms, and I take that scratcher or that little spiked roller.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just run across.
I've seen where what's his name? Duck River. He bought one of the new heated jobs, and like Harmony Farms, and he uses that roller with the pinhole or the pin things on it.
Yeah, those spikes.
And I was surprised that he had that, and I'm like, I would have thought you would have, had an uncapper or something,
Yeah. I think the young man's just kind of getting his feet on the ground commercially, so.
He is. He is. I mean, he has some really nice looking plumbing and hardware.
Yeah, he's building about all of his own stuff, though. I mean, he don't hire too much out, I don't think. So, more power to him. I admire him for that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, well, and I'll know for sure because I may end up getting two sizes of it, JW, and one of them is going to be bigger than the other one. So I won't know for sure until mid-October.
Yeah, we'll get one big enough so I can use it for a casket if something happens. I'll kick over.
There you go. Yeah, they can always cut you in half and use it.
Yeah, well, I'm extracted.
they use it for a feed trough.
Yeah. I've got plenty of those, Charlie, left over. I've got, but they make good places for robbing stations for the bees, I call them.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll have more information here, like I said, by mid-October.
That's fine. I'll probably be in. I'm supposed to have a $50 credit with you from Nancy's deal.
Yes,
so.
you are. You do.
It ain't no big deal.
All right, and I will have them at now.
Yeah. So I'll probably be in touch with you in the meantime. I'll try to support your upcoming venture if it's halfway meets my specs.
There you go. So all I got to do is wait for them to get here now.
So you're expecting to have the product on hand this before Christmas, are you? Or?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Good deal. Good luck to you.
I'm going to need it, I think.
Maybe I can get Joy up here to do my extracting for me if I get all kinds of fancy equipment.
There you go.
I don't know if I want to come behind Matt.
Yeah.
If I follow Matt, I might have to work myself to death.
Yeah.
Bring him.
Damn, Clay's got quite a bit of honey. He's got another 1,200 pounds to spin out. That's good.
Keeps putting out that Missouri stuff, Bill. Don't pay much attention to that. There's not too much goes on over in Missouri. That's kind of a bad area.
You think so?
You know, it's it's just not a good place to be from. It's a good place to be from, but it's not a good place to be from.
Good place to be away from, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sonny and Cher out there, they keep promoting that Missouri stuff, but it's really not that great.
Well, Charlie and I are going to make a ride out there in February. And I'm trying to talk Will into going with us.
We'll see what's going on.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. So I don't know if they can handle the three of us together or not.
All jokes aside, they have that Eastern Missouri people. They do put on a pretty good little one day conference.
Well,
it's nothing.
Let's put it this way, Tom. You might have a rough crowd in Missouri, but can they handle 3 mountain rednecks?
All right, we got Tom and Melissa. We need a name suggestions for the Nobby dinner.
Yeah.
And
so let's what everybody can come up with here. If you can't come up with it tonight, think about it this week, and we'll talk about it Friday night on Charlie. So,
water museum.
Has a water museum. Why would they have a water museum? Is water that rare out there?
Riverboats.
Oh yeah, riverboats. Missouri River.
Mr. Kissippy on the
Yeah.
right next to the clean side. They're about all rednecks. There is more than plenty. It's pretty much 100%, I'd say. So,
Look, there he is. There's
Mhm.
Matt right there.
Sawmill Charlie.
Sawmill Charlie experience.
Is that
You
the
know,
dinner?
he's going to have an autograph table at my booth, and JW, you're welcome to sign autographs there too. At Nobby.
I'll leave that up to Mr. Ed. He's the autograph guy.
He won't come by there.
He's afraid to. Afraid he might have to spend some money.
That's right. I might sell him something. You
Yeah.
never know.
That ain't too likely.
There's Carl.
The camera's off.
Yeah. Carl's being shy tonight.
It's
It's not like it's one of his youngsters.
No, it's not working still. Yeah.
Hmm.
You're on your camera. It's
Carve
just,
it. I'll carve it in there with a pocket knife. Sonny, that's what I'll do on the chest, son.
Ricky.
Son with a pocket knife.
Carl's dealing with his IT expert right now.
What?
He's got his youngsters.
Yeah.
They've
It sounds like she's helping him with the computer.
they've sniped his computer.
Mine has a little switch up there by the camera that sometimes I forget and flip the wrong way. Maybe that's what's going on with Carl.
Yeah. Might be. It's trying.
Looks like he's got the camera lens covered.
It
Probably.
does, doesn't it?
Yeah, probably. I got one of those. See there?
Yeah.
Oh.
You got to take the tape off of it, Carl, so we can see you.
It's hard.
Hey, how you doing?
Talk to him.
Good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Is your dad
Enjoy your
asleep?
vacation.
Yeah.
Are you back in school yet?
No.
No. When you going back to school?
September 4th.
Wow.
Labor Day.
You get a long break.
Be thankful for that. That's great.
Yeah, really. Most of the kids in Virginia are already back in school.
Oh.
Yeah.
They start back. They tried that here, and people rebutted because Labor Day weekend. You know, they wanted their last.
Yeah.
You know, last of the summer weekend.
Last hurrah.
Last hurrah.
So they got that changed.
Yeah.
You get your grandsons moved in, or grandchildren, I said, son and daughter, isn't it? Joey, did you get them all moved in?
Oh yeah.
I'm
still feeling that.
Yeah.
Carrying all that stuff up them stairs.
I don't think he's got it muted now, Tom. Oh, he left.
Yeah.
I heard Carl there with him.
Oh, did
Yep.
you?
He said, talk to him. You know, that could be a dangerous statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one moved in this past weekend also.
Jude, my grandson, him and his buddies, they pretty much got their self moved in before we'd ever got there.
Yeah.
But because they had to move in about 8 o'clock that morning, and Alexis didn't have to be in until she was supposed to have been there in line for 6:30, and we got there early, and still at 6:30 they told us we was going to have to wait. And man, they had that thing organized where all the it's kind of like the overflow parking for the stadium. They had us zigzagged all through there. The cars just kept moving, and we got up there where they gave us the tickets to tell us what area to go to.
Yep.
They told us it's going to be a few minutes. Said the football players is coming over, and they complained yesterday about all the vehicles making dust and everything. And they said we had to wait till the football team walked over. Hey, had to wait till the football team walked over and got out of the way before we stirred up any more dust.
Yeah.
I said,
Are you Carl's IT expert?
Yeah.
You finally got the camera going, huh?
So, Joey, were you going to a ball game or something, or what?
No, getting the grandkids moved in. They going to
Dormitory, it sounds like, Joey. You
Yeah.
were in the dorms.
moved them into dorms. Yeah.
Oh, going to college. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's all upperclassmen. They live in private, housing.
But
Yeah.
it's probably a good thing. I used to be a supervisor for a long time.
Yeah,
And
you
if
managed a lot of
If
houses.
somebody would have come and complained to me like that football did, and I had the authority, and they held all these people, these parents up where they could walk through without getting dusty.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. Tomorrow, y'all be in that line working with the rest of those students helping that traffic get through.
Yeah.
And we'll see how y'all appreciate it. Then
Yeah.
that's how Joey would have done it,
I thought you would have said. I thought you were going to talk about where the one guy said, "Well, my cell's a little bit too small. Can you get me a bigger size cell?"
Yeah. Well, that's what you have to deal with,
Yeah.
because they're a football player don't mean they better than anybody else.
You guys, do you guys do the honeybees?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
You probably have to do all the work for your daddy, don't you?
Yeah.
I didn't think you done much.
You take and sell at the markets for him. You and your mom.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Put peppers in the smoking machine.
She's putting the word out on you, Carl.
He did fix
Oh,
it.
she's a sneaky cat. She wanted to play, and she was playing with both computers to get on there.
She
found her
figured
way
it out
on.
for you. You got
What's
a
that?
regular IT expert there.
She got the camera to work.
Yeah.
Well, she switched computers because I told her. I said that one doesn't work. So she's been fighting it. She jumped right on another one and jumped right on my computer. Yeah. So
Well,
tell
she
them
looks
about
like-
working the bees.
She must look like her mother.
Well, she looks better than me. That's all I know.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we were hinting around about.
Thank God for that.
Don't forget to do your honey right for the honey show this year at Nobby too.
Exactly.
I'm gonna have to be coaching you. I'm getting
Tom.
pretty good at that honey stuff. I'll tell you.
Are you coming?
Coming to the thing?
Yeah.
Convention?
They lowered the age. You can come now.
Okay.
Oh, look at that face. Did you see that face?
She's smiling.
I don't want to go for 11 hours.
Well,
We go for more than 11 hours because when us guys get together, we get together for the whole day, like 12, 14 hours.
Oh, yeah. She's got it figured
Wow.
out. She knows the crazy bee talk.
No, I don't want to drive 11 hours there and 11 hours back.
No, we'll put you on a plane.
What's your daughter's name, Carl?
Haley.
Kaylee? Tom from Via Honeybees wants you to get your daddy's credit card and read it out to him.
No, actually, why don't you borrow Tom and Melissa's credit card?
You
It
can
has
bet
more.
old horse trader Sauceman out there. He's on the take. You can bet on that.
Hey,
Gotta watch him like a hawk,
what?
Carl.
Make sure you smile like JW. He has a better credit card than all of us.
Him?
Yep, JW.
Hey, Carl, you know why he's got a bigger credit card than the rest of us, right? You see what's behind him, that he's still making hay that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know.
That's my buddies. That's my two Amish buddies, eh? They still are making it that way, yes. Right
Yeah.
now.
I was gonna say, it looks like there's steel wheels on that wagon.
There is. There's steel wheels on it.
That's the way they do it.
Okay. Say goodbye. These guys were talking serious.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, kiddo.
Good night, Haley.
Hi.
Bye.
Tell me you got a week to go to school, right? Week and a half. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
See y'all later.
Maybe.
She's rigged
Don't
it, Carl. You can't
Don't
get
show your
off.
dad how to turn the computer off.
Look at the time she raised her hand up there, it went off.
Yep.
That asparagus is all gone, Prater. That's a spring crop here. You got to do that in April,
Yeah,
late
really.
March and April when the
Yeah.
spring. I'm reaping they got about 10 acres of asparagus, and they got Dutch clover in as a cover for the winter.
Yep.
And my bees take advantage of that.
Yep.
It's only a couple 100 yards from one of my bee yards. That works about good for me. That's a good forage source for my bees.
Yeah, it is. Well, everybody, it's almost 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I turn into pumpkin, but I've got an hour yet to get transferred over. I'm an hour behind y'all.
Yep, you are.
Joey and I, he's
How many bee conferences do I attend in a year? Well, I go to Nobby, I go to Virginia. I try to go to West Virginia, and I can't make any of the Maryland ones, and I try to go to North Carolina.
There ain't no Maryland conferences that I know of.
Well, there used to be.
Yeah, they have their state meetings, but that's what they call a conference.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Their state meeting.
They ain't worth even showing.
Yeah. So Pennsylvania has changed their format. So is West Virginia. So
West Virginia's down there, Sellersville or something like that.
yeah. Well, they used to have a big one every year, and then they had a smaller one. So they had two, and they've kind of changed the format. They've reduced the size of it, and or either that or not as many people are attending. Put it that way. So the venues have gotten smaller as well.
That's right away, isn't it? Didn't I see Greg Burns? Didn't he put out something on that? Or he was going over there.
Well, that was
Yeah.
up in the mountains that year, and then now they got the West Virginia Bee Fair,
Yep.
and it's going to be in Lewisburg, West Virginia, which is not too far from Bill's, I don't think,
No, it's not. It's 4.5 hours.
from your place.
Yeah. And then I got invited to Georgia this year, but I missed the invitation, so I'm going next year. So the Georgia State Bee Conference.
That's on the north side of Atlanta there at Gainesville, where it's at this year anyway.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Yeah, it's like September 12th and 13th, something like that.
Yeah.
I
missed the invite, so
well,
yeah. But yeah, I try to attend as many of them as I can. So I'm gonna be attending more of them next year. So I'll have a little bit more time on my hands next year to go.
You'd be just almost like the Sonny and Cher show, showing up at all these different conferences around the country.
Oh yeah. If I can drag Charlie and Charlie or Will along with me.
I could go to some.
I could go to Virginia conference and see everybody that I want to see instead of going to West Virginia. That's for sure.
Yeah. He's back.
I'm back.
Where's your IT expert?
They're here. I'm trying to chase them to bed, but I wanted to jump in real quick and thank you guys for letting them jump in because they really wanted to jump in here, and I appreciate that. But,
Not a problem, Carl.
That was cool.
I just wanted to jump in here real quick because it's been a very rough year in the Northeast, and Will, you should know this better than most of the guys on this chat, but you know, we've had a ton of rain and stuff like that, and it's been an up and down year and stuff. I just wanted to say, everybody keep your head up, keep treating your bees, keep on top of it. And, you know, my bees have looked better in the last month than they have all year long.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just starting to jump now, it seems like.
Yep. Lost your voice, Carl. Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Carl.
You lost your volume, Carl.
Your daughter shut the video or the sound off on you, Carl.
Somebody shut your sound off, Carl. Can't hear you.
Oh, she's back.
Oh, she's back. The IT
You'll fix it
expert's
now.
back. He's gone.
By his head.
Well, I was thinking about a name for our dinner. We could call it the National Beekeepers Dinner. You know,
Yeah.
that's, I don't know, something kind of got in my head. I mean, trying to, not so much the no life beekeepers. It's, I don't know. I mean, it's most of the people who are going to this are on these chats, and we're all over the United States and Canada. And mostly, you know, we did have some Canadians at the party last year or this
What's
year.
your beekeeping credential? Could we call it something wrapped around that?
STHO?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Self-taught.
Self-taught, hands-on beekeeper, master beekeeper.
Yep. From the
Yeah.
school of.
From the College of Hard Knocks.
There you go. There you go. Something wrapped around that would be cool.
Yeah. Don't make the name too stuffy.
STHO Beekeepers Dinner.
Yep. Yep. And then everybody would be wondering what that credential is and how do you get that credential and where do you go to get
Exactly.
that credential, and they'll all be wondering and looking. And
Yeah, I like that one too.
Yeah, I do too. North American Beekeepers Dinner.
Yeah, North American Beekeepers Dinner. That has a nice flow to it.
Yeah.
I don't care what to call it as long as they call me when they eat.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't
Yeah,
call me
you gotta
late for dinner.
You got to bring your own food, maybe. Unless we get some enough donations where we can pay for the place, and then also maybe have some finger food, hors d'oeuvres or something like that, some drinks.
Well, it won't be a dinner. I mean, why don't you bring your own dinner, isn't it?
Well, that's a suggestion. Yes.
how many
Well, we
people were at the last one, Charlie?
Huh?
How many people do you think were at your last one?
There was about 60 of us.
Okay.
And then there were some other folks that kind of came in and visited, like Mike Berry and Natalie's parents and all that. And they, you know, it was 2 packs, so they didn't, you know, stay.
Mm-hmm.
If they'd have been room, if there'd have been more room in there, some of those would have stayed over there.
Yeah, I would say we would have probably had 75 to 100 people if we had a decent sized room, but we didn't know what we were getting. We thought it was that room which was connected to the restaurant area, but it wasn't. So,
Yeah.
The room that we're looking at now that Tom and Melissa talked about, I've been there. It'll hold 150, 200 people easy. It's kind of like a wedding reception
venue.
area and all that.
So Charlie, how much would it cost us to get a band down there?
I don't know. That would be a lot of money. I don't know. I don't know anybody in the area that well.
Do tickets for dinner or something like that.
Maybe you can get Cayman and his bluegrass boys to come over.
I think Cayman's going to put some kind of a shindig on himself.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But I don't know. I found our party to be quite, it was very nice, entertaining. It gave you that time to actually start meeting people off the chat side here, to, put the name with the face type of thing. And whereas trying to meet everybody at the conference is a little bit difficult, where now we can kind of condense everybody in one room and we can all chat as, somebody wants to walk up to you and say, hi, I'm so-and-so.
The Baroa support for dinner.
Yeah.
But, just that's what I like about it.
No, I'm looking forward to it, Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody would pitch in, I don't know, if we had $20 a head or something like that, and we had enough donations where we could cover the cost of the room, and we could also bring in maybe a caterer or something like that.
What are they wanting for that room, Charlie? Do you know where they want for
I
that?
think that Tom and Melissa said somewhere around $700, and that's for about 3 hours.
That just reminds me, I was supposed to call my bank today. I'll do it tomorrow.
And Philip says that we could call it the Charlie's fan. It's not about me. It's just it's about us as a
It's
group.
about everybody.
I was just, I'll say the host. Let's face it. Ricky Rourke is the one that started all this 2 years ago. He said, "I'm gonna, if anybody's coming in early, we're all gonna get together at this restaurant, a Mexican restaurant, and 40 of us showed up there, and we had a good time."
Yeah.
And all that. And we had, nice food and stuff. And then the next year he wasn't coming. And that's when I was asked to sort of co-host it or host it or whatever you want to call it. And between me and especially Tom and Melissa, she was the one that put a lot of work into it. And anyway, so now it's grown, and we need a bigger space because there's a lot more people that want to come. And so it's, we might have to, I'll say take a donation of a certain amount.
Yeah.
So we can afford all this stuff. I mean, I had one person that said that they would maybe possibly pay for the room, which I think that's, at $700. That shouldn't be, that's not right.
So there's been a rumor started that Joey's the one that's covering the room.
No, I don't think so. I kind of know that person, and I'm not saying, but anyway, I think I've been to the mead tasting thing, that's where this room was. I've been to that last year. I'm not into mead, so it was not something that I thought I would just meet people that I would see on the internet, which didn't quite happen. I mean, it's happened some, but. And then I went to what is it called? The veterans thing.
Yeah.
And
Hives for heroes.
huh?
Hives for heroes.
Yeah, Hives for Heroes. And they called it a bluegrass band, and it wasn't in my my opinion per se. But it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It was more of I don't know. You had food and dinner, and then they were doing door prizes and trying to raffle things and make more money, which is fine. But it just wasn't, I liked our venue, our pizza party. I had more fun there than all those other different
that
things.
was fun. I enjoyed that.
It was fun. We got to meet people. I got like Mike, who owns Easy oxalic acid, manufacturer. I got to talk with him and meet him, and I talked to a couple couples from up in Canada, and all the rest of you guys here on the chat, along, and then on the sidebar here and all that. So, is that what we want to call it? The Hive?
Hey, Gary, I got plenty of room in the back of my truck or in the trailer. I'll stop in West Virginia and you can jump in and we'll go.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? The West Virginia program?
No, Gary's saying he's trying to figure out how he's going to get there.
You mean the Nobby?
Yeah.
You guys must have fit right in there, Brian. Between Big Mike and Carl, you got in between them. You must be like a. You're all about.
There was Big Mike from up in New Hampshire, as like Brian was saying, and Brian was there, and his wife, and Carl, and just everybody that's on these chats were there. I mean, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. It was fun. You meeting everybody and seeing everybody down there. Yeah, it was fun.
Well, I guess we're thinking about it.
At that time.
It's that time. So.
Yep. So if you enjoyed tonight, like it. If you're new and you liked it, please subscribe. Keep us all hanging around a little bit longer.
Yep. Thanks for the comments on my questions, folks.
You're welcome, JW, anytime. And all of y'all out there in the chat or lurking in the dark, you're more than welcome to come in at any time. You don't have to be invited. You can just pop in, ask your question, and go back out if you want. You can stay. The more, the merrier.
So Todd, did you get your package in the mail Saturday? Let me see.
May be gone.
He might be gone.
He was right in there. I don't know.
Yep. And tell your friends about it if you enjoyed it. The more people we get in here, the better off we are. So spread the word. So y'all have a good night. Don't forget about Nancy on Wednesday night. And Charlie on Friday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time.
I might be on.
You might be on.
I might run out of time.
No more 3 or 4 hour sessions. Is that what you're saying, Charlie?
Yeah, StreamYard's gonna clip his wings.
Yeah, I got you.
So, well, y'all have a good evening, and I enjoyed having everybody on here. And we will be back next Monday night. Good night, everybody.
Good night.